Hello and welcome to my August wrap up, or my can I read 31 books in 31 days video. It is currently the 2nd of August, so it feels extremely weird to be introducing my August wrap up right now, but I'm going to be filming this video as we go throughout the month, so here we are. So basically I'm filming this throughout the month because hopefully, fingers crossed, there's going to be 31 books to talk about in this video, and that seems like a lot to do in one, so I figured I'll film it as we go and you can get my thoughts when they're like fresh and I can tell you like my feelings and exactly what I think about the book as I finish them, and hopefully this will make it better and like better reviews as well. The way I'm doing this, or hoping to do this 31 books in 31 days, is one, I have a pile of books upstairs. You'll have seen them in my August TBR video. There's 31 books there and it's a pile, quite a variety of books that I'm hoping will mean that I can easily find something to pick from. But two, and I think the main part of this, is I'm mood reading. I can read whatever I want, whenever I want throughout the month. I am 100% mood reading. Whatever I fancy, whatever I feel like, I'm going for. And finally three, I'm considering the page length quite a lot. I'm not necessarily going to be reading like the shortest books on my TBR or anything like that in this video, but I am going to be really considering how long a book is when I'm deciding what to read, and I'm going to really try and avoid any big books because I think that would mean that I'm not going to be on track. So because of the mood reading, I don't actually expect to read one book per day, but I do still hope to read 31 books in 31 days. What I expect to happen is I'll read 2 to 3 books at a time and I'll mood read, and I'll be reading them wishy-washy here, there and everywhere, and then probably every 2 to 3 days I will finish 2 or 3 books all at once. And that, honestly, when I mood read, that is kind of how it happens. Like, that's kind of what I'm expecting from this. But as I've said, I am filming this throughout the month, so right now I have no clue what's going to happen this month, so I think it's time to just get into talking about book number 1. So as I've said, it is the 2nd of August now and I've finished book number 1 of the month, and that was Reckless. I started this book at the very end of July but did not finish it, so decided to finish it and get it out the way straight away because, to be perfectly honest, I was not enjoying it. This book was quite disappointing. I really enjoyed Powerless. I think I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it, which is book 1 of this series. And then there's a little novella in this series, which I think is called Powerful. And I did not like it. I didn't see the point in it. It honestly felt pointless. You knew what was going to happen throughout. There was no plot. There was nothing. Did not like it. And I was like, no, but this is a full-length novel again. Hopefully it'll be like Powerless. We can see our way through this, and I had a lot of high hopes going into this, but I was a bit wary because of not enjoying the novella. And yeah, for good reason. I did enjoy this. Honestly, I think if I didn't have the audiobook to help me read this, I don't think I'd have finished it. And therefore, I'm giving it 2 stars. It was not for me. It wasn't good. I didn't enjoy it. I really don't know what happened. It felt very YA, but like, I feel like that's hard to say because there's some YA that I really enjoyed. Like, I read some YA, you know, last month in July that was really good. I still read a handful of YA and they're great, so like, I don't want to bash on like the whole age range. Like, YA is great if you are a young adult, but book 1 was written as if it could be read by anyone. I really enjoyed it as an adult. It came out less than a year ago. Like, I genuinely really enjoyed it, but this one was just not it, unfortunately. It never really went deeper than surface level, and it felt like there were a few times where it was tempted to, but it didn't actually go there. There were also multiple points throughout this book where the plot could have changed, could have thickened, could have gone in a different direction, and none of those chances were taken. It was very linear, like no surprises, no jumps, nothing throughout. And to be perfectly honest, even though our main 2 characters are interesting, I do find the main 2 interesting, I really struggled to care about anything that was happening in this book. I felt like there was no risk, I never felt like anyone was in danger. I didn't care. I struggled to care about anything. Yeah, the plot didn't grab me, the characters didn't grab me, literally nothing grabbed me. We were at one point, I read mainly on audio, so I don't know 100%, but I reckon it was about 30% of the way through, and one of our main characters started doing something really interesting. I thought that was where the plot was going to go. So we had maybe like 2 chapters where I was like, oh, like this isn't what I was expecting, this is quite interesting, and then no, back to the main plot. So I don't know, just disappointing. 2 stars. Shit way to start the month, but here we are. Good morning. It is now the 3rd of August, and very late last night before I fell asleep I ended up finishing my book, and that book was Games of Death and Desire. This was one that I read on my Kindle, and essentially this is the other of the 2 books that I was actively reading at the end of July that I wanted to finish, because I was actually reading them and really enjoying them at the end of July. Yes, there are still books that I picked up in July and I started, and I might end up finishing those, I don't know, but I have now finished the 2 that were actively going on, like the ebook I was reading when I had a chance to physically read, and the audiobook I was listening to when I had a chance to listen. So yeah, Gain the Death and Desire, I think it's a 4-star. I think it's a 4-star, like that's what it feels like, so I think I'm just going to go with it. I gave book 1 in this series 3.5 and it felt close to a 4-star, and this I definitely enjoyed more, so yeah, 4 stars. Let's go for 4 stars. So I don't really feel I can talk much about this book because it is book 2 in a series. There was a very interesting reveal at the end of this book that changes a lot of the context of what we were seeing throughout the book. Like, I definitely think it'd be an interesting one to reread having had the reveal, because I do think it changes a lot of the context. Like, when the reveal happened, I was automatically like, oh, like, yeah, it was good. What else can I say that's not spoiler? We definitely progress the plot, we progress where we're going, we learn information, we move forward. It was very nice and satisfying, and it felt like we were making progress the whole time. We didn't see any more of the world in this one, but the world definitely still got like developed, and everything we did see felt very easy to see and comprehend and understand, and it was just very nice. Like, we didn't really explore any more, but we had more detail, I guess is the easiest way to put it. There's someone that I really don't trust, so I don't know if it's just me being silly or not. Like, I have no reason not to trust this person, but I'm like, I don't trust you, there's something going on here. Yeah, and I like the development of the romance in this one. When I read book 1 of this series, I really did not understand why it was being marketed as a fantasy romance. Book 1 just felt like a fantasy to me. I definitely understand why this one was a fantasy romance, and you know, there was development to the romantic relationships in this. It still felt secondary to the plot to me. Like, I would say kind of like 30-70 in terms of romance to plot ratio. So definitely a lot more than book 1, but it still felt like it would have held itself up without the romance element. Like, it still felt like the plot was enough, which is really what I enjoy. So I really did have a great time. And in this series we're dealing with possession. It is literally called the Rites of Possession series. So yeah, the conversations around possession were interesting, the internal conversations were interesting, and it was really nice to just have mature conversations, honestly. Like, it was really good. I really enjoyed it, and I will definitely be picking up book 3. So yeah, that is book 2 of the month. Okay, please ignore that I'm in full sleep mode and that I dropped my tea down with me. I'm about to have a bath, but I've finished Walking in the Woods. It is now the 5th today, and we've finished book number 3. Unfortunately, I think there's only going to be 4 stars, which is still a great rating, but this is a 5-star prediction, so it's slightly disappointing. 4 stars is still a great rating. This just waffled so much, honestly. The content in here was really good, it just didn't need repeating so many times. I feel really knowledgeable on Shinrin-yoku now. I feel very informed and educated about the different aspects. I understand where the different research has gone into it to like scientifically prove how these different methods are beneficial and helpful, and I would definitely recommend this. I feel like it could have been maybe half the size, maybe half's a bit too much to cut out, but a lot was repeated. Yeah, and because this is translated, and also this is the first book I've ever read where like there's not a translator. The translation is just done by like a website by the looks of it. It's just got www.wedojapan.com, where obviously in English we might say something twice, but you'd word it in a slightly different way to make sure it has the same effect, and it could have been originally written by that and the translation has just written it the same way because it means the same thing. I don't know, so it's definitely a difficult one, but there were a couple of handfuls of things that were repeated twice, but then there were also probably a few more than that that were repeated 3 or 4 times, so that definitely to me isn't great. Yeah, really good, really informative, really knowledgeable, really glad I read it. It was a really good non-fiction. Like, it did what it set out to do it just kept repeating itself. And I feel like, especially with non-fiction, I really don't appreciate feeling like my time is being wasted or my time isn't being valued. And yeah, this was 174 pages and it could have been 100 pages easily, but I did really enjoy the content inside. So yeah, it's a difficult one because I would like to recommend it, but it's also like, if you're super interested in this, I would recommend it. If you are willing to go through the repeating of things, 100% go for it. But yeah, it unfortunately doesn't feel like a book that values your time, but when it's a book about slowing down and like appreciating things a bit more, and you know, really talking about like just sitting with nature and reducing stress and really like that sort of thing, it's like, is that even what the book wants to do? I don't know, but it is a non-fiction book telling you information about a subject. So yeah, I would have liked it to be shorter, and it could have been shorter and given me the exact same amount of information, education, knowledge, but it wasn't. So 4 stars. If it was shorter, it probably would have been 5, to be honest, but that's where I sit with this one. Okay, it is now the 6th of August. I've just finished book number 4. I'm here with a very sleepy, very silly cat, and we've just finished Cold Clay. So yeah, I think this is getting 3.5 stars. It's a cozy mystery. In terms of the cozy part, it was amazing. It was perfect. It was so much fun. I absolutely loved reading it. In terms of the mystery part, not so much. Unfortunately, it wasn't great in terms of mystery. Like, it was fun. Like, I still had fun following it along, but absolutely everything was extremely guessable and extremely obvious. Like, there was no mystery. So yeah, a little disappointing there. However, even knowing every element of the mystery, it didn't take away from my actual reading and my reading experience. I still had just as much fun, I still enjoyed it just as much, I still loved the character just as much. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really liked it, and I would definitely recommend it if you want like a fun, cozy, silly time. You want to really like just get involved with characters and love these characters and have like the silly moments with them. It is really good. This is book 2 in the series. I'm not actually sure if the series has a name, but book 1 is called Shady Hollow. This is book 2, which is called Cold Clay, and I do think it's great if you're in the mood for it. I think if you want a mystery, it's probably not going to get what you want, but if you want a cozy fun time with very lovable characters, very silly goofy times, and just like this very interesting town of various animals working together, living together, and a fun story, a fun way of viewing things, highly recommend. I'm giving it 3.5. I can't give it more because it's a cozy mystery and the mystery was not good. I mean, like, I had fun. Like, it wasn't not good as in like it was a not good mystery, but like it was very obvious from probably the 15% mark, if not earlier, everything that was going to happen. So that was a bit disappointing, but still had so much fun with it. So yeah, like, I wish I could give it higher, but with it being a cozy mystery, I just can't. So yeah, that is book number 4 finished. Wow, I have just finished Is Gender Fluid by Sally Hines or Hines. I'm not 100% sure how the last name is pronounced. This was so good, so impactful. Like, this is something that I will recommend widely. It is so informative. I have definitely learned more nuanced stuff, I'd say. Like, nothing in here in terms of what is currently around in society was new, but there was so much background information and so many cultures and places explored in this. It was absolutely amazing. I mean, just look. Did it focus? I don't know. I don't think that's focusing, but there's a lot of tabs. I really tabbed it up. There was a few tabs that I put in that were things that I like 100% disagree with, and then the next page it'd be like, however, this is no longer the case today, as it has now been proven. I'm like, yes, yeah. So it's just, yeah, really informative, really amazing. I definitely feel like it's improved my knowledge. I I don't really know what to rate it. It feels like a 4.5 stars to me, but I am worried that the half star it's like losing is only due to its age. It came out in 2018, so there are just a few things that are dated, and it doesn't feel as well-rounded to me just because it's not current. Like 2018 was like 6 years ago now, which is insane. But it wasn't. It just doesn't feel quite as well-rounded. But if I'd have read it in 2018, I'm not sure if it would. So like maybe it'll be a 5 in the end. I'm going to put it down as 4.5 now, but I think when I've had time to like fully process and think about this, because I do think this is a book that I'm going to be thinking about for days, weeks, months, years, like honestly so much. But I feel like within a few days, within maybe a week, I'll have been able to process whether it is that 5 star or if 4.5 star is what I'm sticking with. But no matter what I give it, I would still highly recommend it. So yeah, another one finished and another non-fiction finished, and I'm really feeling my love of non-fiction coming back again. Like I have always enjoyed reading non-fiction so much, and I think I'm eventually finding the ones that are really gelling with me, so I'm really happy about that too. So yeah, really amazing read. Would recommend if you would like to have more knowledge and background understanding as to essentially why gender is fluid. So yeah, that's update number 5. I think this is book number 5. Okay, it's still late on the 7th, but I have read 2 more books. I've read Skies of Fire Volume 1 and Skies of Fire Volume 2, and these were fine. Honestly, they weren't any special, they weren't anything I loved, but they were good fun. Volume 1 consists of issues 1, 2, 3 and 4, and Volume 2 consists of issues 5, 6, 7, 8, and they're complete. Like, for these 2 together is a complete series. I read the entire story, I read the entire arc. I enjoyed it, I had fun, but it wasn't really what I like. I didn't get sucked in, I didn't get hooked or anything, but it was like a fairly decent time. I think the art in this and like the actual imagery, which I will show, this is page 2 so there's no spoilers, but that's kind of what it looked like, and I really enjoyed that. Like I did really like it, and the plot was fairly decent. Like I enjoyed the plot, but I felt it jumped around a little bit too much. Obviously these were first published as issues and they didn't always flow very well together, but like overall really good. Did really enjoy, but I didn't know our characters at all. Like I can't remember the dog's name, which is how I know that like there was just no attachment to characters. So yeah, 3 stars for each of them. Like they were fun, they kept me captivated, they're a good read. I won't read them again, honestly. I'm probably going to sell them on. They're quite expensive, like they're in a box set. These are like really nice editions. I'm probably just going to sell them on Vinted. I'm glad I read them. It's an adventure story. Like these are marked as fantasy, but like I'd more call them an adventure story. They're basically in these big like air balloon things, like not hot air balloons, but like these big, they have a real name but I can't think of it, but those things, and they're literally on an adventure to find someone. Like that is the entire plot. Different things happen here, there and everywhere, but that is the basics of it, and it was good. Like it is decent. It's just that's it. I'll probably never think about these again. I'm glad I read them. I had fun reading them. Like I picked them up and brought them about a month ago now because I was intrigued enough to buy them and the shop was closing, so I got them. But I don't know, most things I really like in graphic novel format, like even genres that I don't normally like historical fiction is not a genre that I can think of any books in that I liked, but in graphic novel format, really love. So like I do want to try different genres in graphic novel or like comic book issue formats, and from this I don't think adventure is one of them. I think I need to know the characters more, and I don't think I can get that from this. But like I didn't care about anything that happened to any of the characters. I didn't know them. I didn't know the dog's name. Like honestly, like that to me is just like, yeah, 3 stars. Oh, and I forgot to say those were books 6 and 7, and it is August 7th right now, which means we're back on track, so that's exciting and I'm really happy about that. Hello, it is the 10th. Yeah, it's Saturday the 10th today. I finished this morning Immortal Longings. I really thought I was going to finish this yesterday. Like I thought I'd get it up Saturday morning. I've got a long training journey yesterday and I thought I'd get it finished, but I did not. So I didn't actually manage to finish it until this morning. So I think I'm going with 4 stars. Well, yeah, I'm pretty confident it's 4 stars. I don't think I can give it higher than that, but I definitely wouldn't give it lower. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really interesting and really good. It's in a world where you can essentially like jump to different bodies, and like your chi is able to overtake like bodies that have less powerful chi in them and can like double up the chi. But if you're the more powerful one, you're in charge of the body. And like a bodyguard in this world is literally like a bodyguard. Yeah, I don't know, like it was really good and really interesting, and it's like based off of Antony and Cleopatra by William Shakespeare, but I've never read the original, so when it comes to the plot points, I just don't know how good they are. I don't know how interesting they are. Like, there was one thing that I did not see coming at all, like only really one thing, but I don't know if that's a part of the original story and I should have known. And then there was one thing that I thought was happening, and then it was hinted at that it was happening, and the way it was hinted at it that it was happening, even though I haven't read the original story, I recognised like the naming of something, and I was like, oh yeah, like that's definitely what's happening. So yeah, I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I really had a good time. I had a fun time, and I really did enjoy our main character. So our main character is called Kalynn, and she is very interesting and very interesting to follow. Like, she's got a goal and you're following her along with like how she's going through things the entire time, knowing what her goal is and knowing what she'll do to achieve it. And the actual world and the buildings are very interesting as well. Like, so this is kind of what it looks like, but honestly I think at some point I'm gonna get rid of this edition and just buy the standard edition, because as nice as this is, after reading the story, I just really don't feel that you can see as much with this like alternate colourway as you can with the original. I'll pop it up on the screen somewhere. And also the second book in this series comes out in September, and I've looked at the normal edition and the special edition for that as well. Like, the normal edition I just really do prefer, so I do think I'll probably swap this out at some point down the line. Like, I'm not in a rush to, but I definitely think I prefer the original. I had fun. I had a really good time. I was sucked into the story. Like, the fact that I couldn't finish it yesterday, I kept thinking about it. Like, I wanted to pick it up. I've mainly listened to the audiobook for this, and I think when I woke up yesterday morning I had 3.5 hours left of the audiobook, and then when I woke up this morning I had 2 hours left, and I finished it this morning. But all day yesterday I was trying to find time to read it. Like, I really wanted to. Like, I was so intrigued and so interested in where the story was going, and that's why I know like it was good and it took me in. But I highly enjoyed it, highly would recommend it. I definitely think it's worth giving it a go, especially if you've enjoyed Chloe Gong's other books. Like, this is very different to the other 2 series, but it has the same like character dynamics, the same pacing, the same interest. So yeah, I think it's worth giving it a go, and I personally very much enjoyed it. Hello, apologies if you can hear the fans running, but we are having another heat wave. Yay. It is now the 12th of August, and I have just finished by Ash, Oak and Thorn. This was lovely. My personal rating of this is going to be 4 stars, but on Goodreads I'm going to give it 5 stars. I think this is a 5-star children's book. I think as an adult you will still thoroughly enjoy it. A little bit of it is heavy-handed and the messaging is very heavy, however for the children and the like age range that it's aimed at, I think it was perfect. So yeah, personally 4 stars, but definitely a 5-star children's book. I thought it was absolutely great. I really loved the atmosphere and the environment and the vibes that it gave, and I really liked our main characters as well. Yeah, definitely found them all interesting. It was nice to be able to tell them apart. They all had quite distinct personalities, and it was really lovely that the different animals and creatures of the wild were also wound into this, and I had a fantastic time reading it. A lovely little adventure just in nature, basically. If you have a child of like middle grade age, I would definitely say this is a book worth reading. It was lovely, and if you're an adult who enjoys middle-aged and children's books, I would also recommend it. The 4 stars is basically because I'm a little bit judgmental and the messaging was very heavy-handed, but I just think that means it's a children's book that's not meant to be like, you know, it wasn't written with the intention of being like widespread to other ages. And it was just very simple things like how the like messages and how the things were worded in a way that was just like, it was literally telling you like we'd see something happen and it was pretty clear what the messaging was, but then because it's aimed at children, after we'd seen that and already had the lesson put forward, we'd then have it in the specific words of this is good because this, oh it's recommended this, and that was just a bit much for me. Sure, it got 4 stars, but I absolutely loved it. I had a great time. I would highly recommend. So yeah, I am falling a little bit behind on the books to read, so I'm going to try and catch up over the next couple of days. I've got quite a bit of cleaning to do, so I'll definitely start another audiobook tomorrow, and I am currently partway through another one, so hopefully we'll finish another few books soon and catch up. Okay, hello, it's Wednesday the 14th of August and I've just finished book number 10. It was Gemina. This is book 2 in the Illuminate files, and this was 5 stars. This is my first 5-star of the month. I absolutely loved it. I've really struggled to put this book down. I've just wanted to be reading it. If you've never seen these books before, they are done all through like mixed media accounts. There's lots of like very fun pages. Hopefully you've been able to see something from that flip through because I'm doing this one-handed, so that's all I can really say, but so good. 100% gave me the 5-star feelings. I'd say around 125 pages before the end I'd taken a break to like get my lunch ready and I was like, it's gonna be a 5-star, isn't it? I was like, this is gonna be a 5-star, and it was. It didn't do anything disappointing, it didn't do anything that lowered it. It is 100% a 5-star. I could not put it down. I was hooked from probably about the 10% mark in. It did take me a little while. We are following completely new characters in this one as to what we follow in book 1, and it did take me a little bit of time to just get used to them, but by 10% I was like, oh yeah, I'm here for the ride. I really liked our new characters. They were really fun, and I also liked how in this one we saw a little bit more of the world. Like, we got quite a bit of exploration of the world and how the world works in book 1, and this one kind of just started to show us a little bit more, started to peel back a few more layers and show us a bit more. And I also, like, this is YA, so it's sci-fi, it's YA, but the stakes felt real. The stakes felt high. I was actually worried throughout different parts of this as to what was happening, and it's a good feeling. There's a couple of things that are just like, whoa, like mind blown, what is going on, but I can't tell you because there would be spoilers, but there were a couple of really big brain things that I was just like, I did not see that at all. And then of course the mixed media elements as well, like they're just, the mixed media elements in this are just so good. It's like really interesting ways to like read and interact with the story, and I absolutely loved it. I had such a great time. Highly recommend. 5 stars, amazing. Can't say much, it's book 2 in the series, but if you enjoyed book 1, I'd definitely recommend picking up book 2. You won't be disappointed. I've just read Goblins and Greatcoats. I enjoyed it. Probably a 3-star to be honest. It was fun, it was easy, a silly little mystery in a fantasy world. Kind of gave the vibes of like a murder mystery, like dinner party, like a whodunit dinner party type thing. Not exactly, but like similar vibes in like how quickly it was just worked out and spoken through. Yeah, I'm easy. 3 stars. I think it was fine. If there were more books about the same character, I would probably pick them up. Like, this was 16 pages long, it was short. I picked it up because I'm running far behind. Like, this was now book number 11, but we're on the 14th. So I'm still 3 books behind of what I should have finished by the end of the day if I'm staying on track. So I just thought, as it was on my Kindle, because it was, I don't know if it's staying free, but it's currently free from Subterranean Press. So I'd got it on my Kindle. I was like, I might as well read it, because yeah, it's literally taken me like 20 minutes. So nice, simple, easy. If there are more, yeah, if there are more books like this about our main character was called Zill, I believe is how it's pronounced, I would pick them up, but I think if these are continued to be made but they're about different characters, I don't think I care enough about picking up books about lots of different characters because of how little we see and learn about the actual characters in one. But in terms of the mystery, I enjoyed it. It was fine, it was simple, it was easy. I'd say if you enjoy Travis Baldree's writing, give it a go. Yeah, it was nice. This Wicked Fate, 3.5 stars. Yeah, I think I'm pretty confident with that. 3.5. If you read and enjoyed the first book in this series, This Poison Heart, I definitely think it's worth continuing on. Like, I'm definitely glad that I read this book and I finished the story and like got everything wrapped up. However, I didn't love it, and as much as it was fun, I don't know, honestly I think it's just YA. Like, there's very few YA that I'm really loving lately, and it was quite a while ago that I read book 1. In fact, I think it was almost 2 years ago at this point I read book 1. I'm pretty sure it wasn't last December but the December before. So, you know, it's been a long time. I did enjoy this. Like, I enjoyed seeing our characters and I enjoyed concluding the story. Like, it was very easy to read, very nice. I just didn't really care. But if I didn't already own it, I probably wouldn't have searched it out. So yeah, I don't know, it was good, it was fun. The magic system was explored even more. The mythology we are basing this off of was explored even more. We had some very fun moments. There were some very good lessons in there. I think especially if you are like a younger YA age, like redemption, love, family, these were all very like big topics throughout the book, and I do think it was nice. So yeah, if you're actually in the age group or are still loving YA and like frequently finding YA books that you love, I definitely think that this could be a good one. And it's only a duology, so you do get the full story in the 2 books. I think I did slightly prefer book 1, but just because it really like showed everything. Like, before going into book 1 you know nothing, and in book 1 you learn so much. This is still really fun, just didn't like it quite as much. Okay, let's update you about some books. I went completely off plan and I'm really far behind. It's currently the 27th of August, which means I have 5 days left and I still need to read 13 books in the next 5 days. So yeah, there's that. Since last checked in, I've read Broken Bonds and gave it 4 stars, Savage Bonds and gave it 4 stars, Blood Bonds and gave it 4 stars, Forced Bonds and gave it 4.5 stars, Tragic Bonds gave it 4.5 stars, and Unbroken Bonds, which I haven't officially rated yet, but I've given 4.5 stars. It's not quite a 5 star, I have to be honest about it, it's not. This is a series that I've read before and decided to reread it. Honestly, I read a hell of a lot in the first few days of the month, and I think I overread a bit, but I didn't want to stop reading, so I decided rereading is better than not reading at all. I am now in the mood to read some other stuff, so I am going to get back on track. However, I am very, very far behind. I don't think I have much to say about these books. I enjoy the story. It's fantasy romance. Pretty 50-50 on plot to romance, but like depending on the book that can sway quite far. But as a series overall, I'd say it's pretty 50-50. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. It is a good reread. Will I ever reread it again? I don't know, to be honest. I've got no inkling, no desire to right now. But you never know. But I'm glad that I did reread it because I do think I remember more, and this is one of the first like fantasy romance series I ever read. And going back, I pretty much agree with the ratings I gave it. I think maybe it's not quite as good as when I first read it because I've read a lot more now, but overall I'm still very, very happy that I reread it. So that's the plan. I'm going to read some books. We're going to try and read 13 books in the next 5 days. We'll keep on hoping. Hi. So last night I finished Finding Me. Honestly, I don't really know how to talk about it. Well, I do. I wrote a review on my phone straight after I finished it, but I haven't looked at that review since, so I don't know how harsh it was. I don't know how much I said. I don't know. But I should probably just grab my phone and just read it out because it is how I honestly feel. I don't want to feel like I'm shitting on this because I'm not. Like, it's a memoir, it's someone's life story. Like, their life is their life, and like if they're happy with their life and their decisions and their choices and their beliefs, then that's perfect. There's nothing more to it. I can't remember what I wrote last night. I'm gonna put this in the bookshelf and I will grab my phone and just read it, and fingers crossed I wasn't too harsh, but I wasn't a big fan of it. Okay, I've just put my lasagna in the microwave to heat up. I love a good leftover lunch, but it does mean I've only got 3 minutes to tell you what I thought about this book, so let's go into it. There's quite a lot that I wrote. I don't want to be harsh. Okay, that's good. I'll start it out. I don't want to be harsh, as this is someone's story and someone's real life. So in that aspect, although it's about I really should have checked through this before starting reading. In that aspect, 5 stars. It takes so much to put this out into the world, and as long as you're happy with your life, then you're living your own 5-star life. I was extremely disappointed in the ending of this. Up until the last few pages, I thought it'd be a personal 4-star rating, but after those last few pages, I have to put it down to 3.5 stars. The amount of this book put on God and doing things and getting places because of God was ridiculous and not something I could understand at all. But it was never explained or talked about why these beliefs were there. And honestly, this ending with she found herself, like the book title, when getting an amazing role at the age of 50 and understanding herself, although again this wasn't really explained, just told, and the lack of reflecting and explaining this book for other people to understand your life bothered me. But then, for it actually to end up, God spoke to her in a bathroom when she was 9, so she knew herself. I just can't. The book had a very strong middle, which I did enjoy and found extremely interesting, but a very weak start and end. I expected a lot more of this, having watched Viola Davis speak and watched her acting, especially in How to Get Away with Murder. Even though this touched on so many difficult and personal topics, and it was definitely deep, it didn't really truly explore any of it. For instance, a lot of her sorting out her past trauma was done in therapy, but there are about 3 lines of this and nothing more. This was told in mostly chronological order, with some sections deviating from this, and I think this would have worked together much better if perhaps separated by topic, as there was so much going on. I needed more explanation. For instance, I saw the other side of this person and forgave them, but why? I accepted the role and it changed my viewpoint, but why? And that why was just never explored. I haven't wrote that down, but like the why, the but why was me saying like why, like I'm getting a statement but I don't understand it. This book is called Finding Me, and it feels like work wise we got there at page 280 out of 291, but I didn't feel the journey. I just wanted more from this. It seems like Viola Davis has lived a very complicated, very eye-opening, very interesting life, but not a lot of that came across. From what I can see, no one helped this book, and maybe having a collaborator who is an author would have helped it come together better. I'm not sure completely how I feel about this. I'm glad I read it. I feel like I learned so much about Viola Davis and about the realities of different parts of America, but with everything in this book, I can't help but feel it could have been so much more. Also, maybe I'm just holding grudges, but what the fuck? Like, forgive your father, why not get your mother away from an abusive relationship? I know it's a very personal thing and a very nuanced decision, but I don't think I'll ever understand it. And on that point, it was also never understood. It was said as a statement that, like, she's seen different sides to her father after having grown up. She forgives him. But one, like, you weren't the one getting punched in the face, whacked across your legs to try and break them. Like, you weren't the one literally scared to death. So it's not for you to forgive. And why would your instinct not be to get your mother away from what is an abusive relationship? Like, I couldn't understand it. But yeah, there's that. Just a little check-in to say I'm not reading 31 books this month. I'm really happy with what I have read, and I don't want to push myself too far. I'm going to keep reading as much as possible and reading as much per day, but realistically I'm going to maybe be able to finish 3 more books this month, and that's just not going to get us up to 31. And the reason I thought I'd come and check in and talk is because I caught myself today. There's an audiobook that I listened to the majority of in one night because it was just free on the Audible Plus thing, and it was dreadful. I hated it. Like, I haven't officially DNF'd it yet, but only because I haven't really like put any thoughts together, and like I like to write down while I'm DNFing something when I do. But because there's only an hour and a half left to that audiobook today, I considered finishing it because it'd be another book done. This would have been a 1-star book. There's nowhere I could have given it more than 1 star, and that tells me I'm having the wrong mindset. So this, you know, it won't be titled 31 in 31, but I'm sure I probably said at the start, I don't know, I haven't started editing yet. I probably said at the start that I was trying to do 31 books in 31 days. That is not going to happen, unfortunately. I am very close to finishing a few books, so I will hopefully still get a few more finished before the end of the month, but it's not going to be 31, and I'm okay with that. It was a good effort. I did do a good effort. If nothing had come up this month, if there were no additional things coming up, I probably could have done it, but there was. And that's life. So unfortunately did not complete the 31 and 31. Stay tuned to figure out how many I do end up reading. Right now we're on 19, so yeah, we're gonna be in the 20s. Will we get to 25? I don't know, we'll find out soon. Hello, I'm here with the final check-in. So I actually didn't realise I hadn't told you about the final book that I read this month, but I've just finished editing up to this point in the video and I have one more to tell you about, so I figured I should do that now. The last book that I ended up finishing in August was Archangels' Heart. This is book 9 in the Guild Hunter series by Singh, and I thought it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. I think unfortunately the ones in this series, and whether they get like a 4, a 4.5 or a 5, really does seem to depend on which characters we're following. Different books in this series have different characters as their main point of view, and there are just some that I still enjoy reading but are a bit more boring, I don't really care so much about, and unfortunately this was one of them. But I really enjoyed the politics in this book. It was very different. Like, so this is I guess it would be a paranormal romance series because it's angels, so I'm pretty sure that falls under paranormal instead of fantasy. But yeah, I really enjoy the series, but this one was much less about the romance. Like, we had a few like little conversations and talks, but pretty much like it wasn't there. This one was so political and so interesting with following the politics and learning more about how the like highest tier of politics in this world works, and I really enjoyed it. We also had like a mini mystery in there which was very obvious but very like fun to follow along with and fun to see it play out, so really enjoyed that aspect as well. And yeah, overall a really good book. 4 stars. Cannot wait to continue on with this series. We'll definitely try and pick up another book of this in September, if not maybe 2. So yeah, that is that. I officially read 20 books. That was the 20th book that I read, so obviously not the 31 we were originally aiming for, but life happens, things happen, and I'm happy that I got to 20. I think it was a good effort. I might try this again another time, like maybe next year, but I think I'd be more prepared and realise if I want to read a book every day, I need to not have stuff going on and stuff to do, because I tried to do this with having just like a normal standard month and being able to read a book every day, and it just didn't quite work out, but it was a good try. Yeah, that is it for the August wrap up. We are eventually at the end of August. I'm going to quickly edit this now and hopefully you'll see in this today. Fingers crossed this goes up on the 3rd. And yeah, that is it from me. Please do give the video a like if you liked it. Subscribe down below if you want to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.